from my past, embracing life again. Taking my time, knowing myself. Patience and strength, it took a while. Heart to heart, I'm feeling confident again.
Hey, Heart Nation. Welcome to another episode of Carla's channel, Heart to Heart Inspiration Podcast. I am your host, Carla J, the Queen of Inspiration. And today I have 3 exciting guests. You all are going to love them, let me tell you. And they're going to spill some tea along the way. But let us get started and let you know who we got today. So first off, starting us off, we have X Thompson. He is the CEO of Jada X Soulful Entertainment, and it is nestled in the heart of Alpine, California. He has been the driving force in the entertainment industry with an unwavering dedication to prominent promotions and booking agency. Let's give it up for Andre. Yeah. And then we have Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa is a phenomenal powerhouse vocalist whose commanding presence and worldwide mastery has opened for legendary artists, including the mighty OJs, Levert, Roy Ayers, Jeffrey Osborne, Phyllis Hyman. That's just to name a few. And she's also performed on Broadway, and she has a #1 tour going around right now. It's the #1 hit Tina Turner tribute act. Lisa is Tina. So, and then we got one more. Don't go nowhere, y'all. We got Melrose the Mistress. She is a bold and dynamic female hip-hop artist and entrepreneur from LA. Active since 2014, she has built a brand rooted in empowerment, authenticity, and real-life storytelling. As a proud mother of 2, she channels her life experiences into music that inspires confidence, independence, and strength. And her debut single, Dumb, showcases her high energy delivery and lyrical presence. So with no further ado, let's welcome everybody to the stage. Hey, thank you all so much for joining. You all look beautiful, just lovely. And
Well,
we're going to start off with
Thank you for
Andre.
having us. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm excited. I am so excited. You all are true superstars, and I love the energy. We have been having a ball off stage. So let's bring some of that onto the stage, and I'm going to get started. So I like to just jump right in. Andre, let us start with you. As you know, you are the male in the group, right? You got the ladies all around you. What is it like trying to manage female artists?
well, I've been blessed. I've been blessed to have 8 daughters in my life, so I got some. I had a head start, but it's rather interesting. It's enjoyable. It can be stressful at times, but for the most part, each individual comes with their own personality. They come with their own character. You know, they have their own style of doing things. So it can become challenging, but for the most part, it's exciting, just to see each individual aspire to be who they are and being able to push them out there into the audience, into the world, and just watch how they just blossom. And for the most part, the communication, like anything in the family, if you have a family of siblings, whatever, we have our moments where you all might disagree to agree, but at the end of the day, we get on the same track and we make it happen. So it's a challenge, but it's fun.
I love that you said that. And you feel like it's a family. So if somebody getting out of line, I don't know, everybody is grown, but you see that on a lot of the movies, right? You see that producers may see their artists doing something and maybe they're criticized for not saying anything to them. Is that you? What role do you play?
I play the doctor, the lawyer, the shrink, backstage, the head, you name it. I'm everywhere. Sometimes it's late night calls, early morning calls. But for the most part, I'm not one to rule the iron fist. I like folks to be able to have their own voice. But when I do see something, I will mention it to them. And hopefully, positive criticism will go a long way, because it's not about really trying to correct someone, but also showing where they can be better at what they're doing. So that's pretty much what I do when it comes down to that.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to move on over to Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa, your presence is awesome. You have been with a lot of artists, opening and things like that for them. And everybody sees this outside you. But what is it like on the inside? Was there ever a low moment in your journey where quitting felt easier than continuing?
Well, I never really quit, but having adversities with having to be a caregiver to family members and, them passing of a stepfather and taking over my mom and caring for my loved ones who have been sick made me tired and felt like I couldn't, maybe I have to slow down and, deal with this later. But I just prayed about it and said, no, this is my therapy. So I cannot give up. And I asked God to just give me the strength to be able to navigate both my career and my family. So it's been a challenge, but I'm still doing it. I'm still rolling. Tina's still rolling on the river. She's
Rolling,
rolling.
rolling. Okay, yeah. Do you do that in your review?
Well, I do more than Tina Turner do. She swims the river, but I roll the floor. I roll the actual ground.
Okay. Wow.
And I roll back up, kick back up and roll back up. I actually have a big finale on that famous role that is all Mona Lisa's and no other Tina Turner tribute act in the world is doing it like me.
All right now. So since you said that and you're rolling everywhere, how do you keep yourself in shape and motivated to do all of that?
Well, this fabulous body works out every day. I'm a grandmother, mother, drinking except for once in a while. I only know one drink, and that's like a fruit punch or something. Drink plenty of water and lemon and exercise. And I don't eat meat or pork. I'm a pescatarian, so that
Wow.
helps.
Wow. I admire people that can do that. I mean, that is on a whole nother level of discipline. And we're gonna come back to you because I want to hear some more. So Melrose the Mistress. Hey. So you are high energy and you've been doing this since 2014, it says, or probably started a little bit before that. But because you have your two children and you made sure to mention them, how has this journey been for them alongside of you?
So I have a well, he'll be 3 May 1st. I have a 9-year-old daughter who she actually had her debut in one of my videos. I sampled Dirty Diana and I did my rap thing on it. And she was in the video. So she's always, but I just noticed how like I kinda get uncomfortable when she hears my music because it's, like, some profanity and things like that, so I definitely grown in the music industry where I'm trying to make clean music. Like, that's why I mentioned my kids. I would love them to be able to rap my music without having to feel like they have to filter themselves or they feel like they're saying the wrong thing or even mimicking me because I said it. So, like, Going Dumb is one of my first singles that has completely no cursing in it. I really feel like, I think as a mother, I'm conditioning myself to be their role model and be good for them. I talk a lot about like, well, and I'm not gonna speak on nobody else, just myself. Like I said, I don't want my kids, they're children. So I want them to listen to me and listen to my music and like learn something. Say if I wasn't here anymore, God forbid, not to see them grow, they can listen to my music and get their questions answered just based off of my music. And eventually they got to grow up. So the stuff that I've already done, I don't feel bad for doing it. That was a time that I was in my life. And, I used a lot of profanity, but just going forward, I just want my music to touch other audiences and not just the ghetto ratchet, music or world. I want to touch everywhere. I want to be a mogul. I want to be international. So I know like it box you in when you can't be diverse with your music. So
Mhm.
that's where I am with that.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Being a super mom. Andre, back to you. So, how do you find your artists? What inspires you when you see someone to say they got it or
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, when I look for an artist, right? Sometimes it's just like, for example, I might go to a show, right? There might be an artist where they're having a showcase or something, and a lot of times what I do, I look to see their stage presentation. How they address the audience. Their vocals. There's a few different things I look at. Their confidence. Are they type of artists that mind investing in themselves? Like I have a Puerto Rican artist that literally he does his own music, he has his own studio in his home. I mean, he really, really like works on his art. So that to me, that's impressive because you have to really want it. You just can't sit there. Well, I had a dream one day I might be a superstar, be committed to. So I look for that. I also look and see how they interact with other people. That's important because you could be around a crowd of people. How do you interact in a crowd? Do you know how to speak well? All those things, are really important to me. And the other thing is sometimes folks come to me and ask me if I represent them. So it's a conversation. It's a conversation. It's also just getting opportunities to get to know that individual, see what their past was all about. I don't really get too nosy, but I like to know if they ever been in a situation, criminal or they're in the gang, whatever. I need to know those type of things too because if it's hip hop or it can even be R&B, I know a lot of different people from different street gangs and stuff that may be active still, but at the same time, if they have beef or something, you don't want to have a show and have an issue or a problem. You know what I mean? So
Oh, wow. I never thought about that. I know we hear it a lot. It happens quite often, but that is something that I would never even thought of, someone in your shoes that you would, be thinking about. That makes sense. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Wow. What inspired you to get these two artists? What did you see?
well, honestly, a young man named John the Boss Man. I was doing a show in the Allentown, PA. I had an all-white show, and he found me on the internet and looked me up and said, "Hey, my name is John the Boss Man. And I do James Brown, and I've been on American Got Talent. Da 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 da. I would love to be on your show." So I gave him the opportunity to come and open up on one of my shows, and then from there, he had introduced me to Mona Lisa. He said, "I know someone that will really be great. She does Tina Marie, So I met Mona Lisa. I met Mona Lisa that does Tina Turner, but I met Mona Lisa. Okay, so I went to a city winery. She had a show there. I was her guest. I went there. I watched her do the Tina Turner tribute. She showed up and showed out. Run into the audience. I went into the dress room. She was like, she embraced me. "Oh, it's good to see you." So that's how I got to meet her. And then from there, basically, we started working with one another. One day, she said a friend of hers had a female rapper named Melrose the Mistress. So I met Melrose through Lisa and her friend. Since then, it's been like, exciting. It's been a marriage, been, what can I tell you? It's been great. Had the opportunity. Melrose, she brings something that's different. I like the way that her skills is so raw and so fire and so dope that she has that she has that sassiness about when she delivers her verbiage. And Lisa, she's just I don't know what to tell about Lisa. She's something else. I had never seen a woman dance the way she did in my life. We was at a show and she did some moves. I looked at her. I said, "Oh, my back hurt." No, but she is really awesome. So that's how I met him, though. To be honest with you, at least these two are my artists. Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. So word of mouth matters. The relationships that you make in this business matters. So Mona Lisa, you, you have been with some great artists. I mean, how did you have formal training? Did you just pick it up by ear? How did this start for you?
They challenged me to sing and be in a talent show, and I won the talent show. So then I said,
What age was
"Maybe I
that?
do have something." I was 8 years old.
Wow.
Then I figured out I had something. I said, "I think I can do it." But
Okay.
my first love is track and field.
Field girl too. Yeah.
Me too. I didn't and I
Yes, you know about that. That's a lot of hard work.
And it's
I was a
after
sprinter. I ran 100-yard dash 4x4, the 220 relay, and I ran in the pen relays in all public.
yes,
But I
yes.
wanted my mom. I ended up getting married early, but I wanted to go further in it. I guess I had other plans, so end up becoming a military wife of 16 years and having two beautiful children. So I'll take that over that.
Okay, all right.
I
So,
picked
and
a man over track and college. Well, I finished school. I picked the goal.
so as you were doing as you were a military wife and a family woman, were you still performing or did that come after?
Yeah. Well, I went to school for allied health and nursing and taught at Merritt College and taught at Cecil Community as allied health professor, taught the nursing programs and retired. And now I raise my children. I'm a glam mom. And now I've decided that, I'm really good at what I do. So I should take the blessings that God gave me and use them
Like
while I'm
that.
still here. And
Like
I'm
that. And
having a ball.
you having a ball. I was just gonna say you still feel like you are, in this world of Melrose, the mistress with the young people all over the radio, the younger songs. I'm saying the younger songs, but I mean like I can listen to a song from my generation and know all the words, right? But this generation, it's like, what are they talking about? And
Right.
you still feel relevant during this time.
Well, because I'm a vocalist, I can change my voice up to sound more youthful or whatever you want to call in what they do, because that's not singing. We sing. They have a
Right.
different type of talk singing. And we don't do auto tune. But while we're on that, I want to mention something very important that wasn't mentioned. Melrose and I are working on a wonderful project. We cannot go into it because we're not finished, but it's going to break the world. And we hope that this certain person really likes it, and she is a athlete of all athletes. And that's all I can say. And we're going to be presenting something really big. We're almost done, right, Melrose?
Yes, we are.
And it is really, really good. So once everything is legalized, we would love to come back on your show to premiere this. You're going to want this. I can't hold water, but
Please.
I want to tell, I want to tell the world.
I know we do.
I
Okay.
can't say anything.
Well,
We would, but when it comes out, we would love to premiere that for you, the video and everything.
I'm so excited about it. And thank you for giving us a little bit of that tea.
I spilled a little. See, I spilled it in a nice way.
Yes, a little. Melrose,
Mhm.
what do you think? Do you, and I was talking to Mona Lisa about, the genre of music, Laverne, Phyllis Hyman, those my people right there. But when it comes to the hip hop side and things like that,
Yeah.
I just depend on my kids and I love the beats and all that, but
Mhm.
the lyrics I just can't get with. But
Right.
do you how do you blend that soulfulness from like Mona Lisa, her voice, her vocals into what you want to do with the hip hop?
Of course. And
Mhm.
so I'm not as young as you think I am. So a lot of the music that I do listen to is old school. Like I got a song called If I, and it comes from, that song, If I Was Your Woman and You Were My Man.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
sampled that one as well. So, and it's a lot of like old school tracks. When I'm doing things like that, I definitely, like with my Dirty Diana, I get nothing but good reviews on that song. And even the video. So I've never like I would love to do more of that just to pay homage and keep the old school music alive and then put my spin on it. But yeah, I can't get with the new music. I be like, I tried. I put on a station that had the newer music. I'm like, yeah. I start putting on some camp and stuff.
Yes,
So
we
I'm,
love
I'm
Kim. Yes, Maxwell, Kim, Tank, Usher.
so I was grooving to that because I was rolling with my little man in the car and I was like, I can't get with that new music is out. They ain't even talking about nothing.
Well, they're not singing. They just talk and they say a few lines. We usually have a verse, a chorus. We go back to the outro, then we go back to the verse and a bridge. And it tells a story. We don't get a story. They say 3 or 4 words and they say it over and over again.
One of my daughters, she is a singer and we went to see a Motown review here in Vegas, and the owner, he said, if you want to learn how to sing better, and practice more, listen to old school.
That's
Listen
right.
to, and so she does. And that's why I always say, that's like you're saying, Mona Lisa, that's that soulful. You're telling a story, you
That's right.
know, like you're falling in love with the
I
music.
want
And
to
that's
feel everything I do. That's why I have a makeup artist because I look like somebody beat me up, honey. After 3 or 4 songs, I mean, I'm full coming out like a horse. I'm coming out the races and I'm sweating and I'm getting myself together because I get so into my role that I
yeah,
feel like I've ran a marathon.
it's a lot of energy. That's a lot of
You
energy
know,
that
and with Melrose, and you was asking about the music and stuff. I have one of my other producers sending her some music right now. We're not going to talk about what, but it's going to be real hot. That she's working
Mhm.
about the work she's working on as well. So it's a combination of a little R&B, hip hop. It's going to be real hot. So
We got the power. Melrose coming with that strong voice. I got that strong voice. She got that strong rapping voice, and it's gritty. She gritty. She's strong. I'm strong. She can do street. I can do street. Then we can get sexy with it. We are
right.
we a good team, and I'm looking forward to collaborating on some other songs with her. And we're going to be making that. Coming up.
I'm glad you talked about you a good team because that's another question that I have. In the industry, you hear about a lot of beefs going on, amongst women, you got all the beefs. What would you say, Melrose and Mona Lisa, what advice would you give to women in the industry?
Well, I can answer it because I think Andre can answer this question. I am always supporting my fellow female vocalists, always adding them to my gigs. Am I not right, Andre?
Lisa will add a lot of people to her gigs. She loves to help promote other artists, which is I think is really a great thing. Even though I tell sometimes we can't bring the whole world on one show, but other than that though, she has a great heart for that to support other women, not just women, but other artists in general.
How do you separate out, friendship versus business?
Wow. I had to learn the hard way. It gets a little tough.
Well, I know for me, basically, I always keep it business and stay professional. I believe in I over E, which is intellect over emotions. Because once you start to um, get involved and you take it personal, what happens is you're no longer doing business. It becomes personal. So I have to stay, we always say, keep your eye on the prize. There got to be some boundaries. And then once we can respect each other's boundaries, that helps out so that you don't have to worry about, uh, friendship thing because you can be friends to a degree, but at the end of the day, it's a business.
Has there been a time where you were running on empty and you just felt like quitting?
So I've already um went through that. That's why I'm back. Like when I had my son, when I got pregnant with my son, my management team that I was working with at the time basically said if I don't know, it just made me toy between keeping my son or not, and I really wanted to. But I even produced songs. Um, I got another song, it's called Love Me, Leave Me. And I was like full blown pregnant. And I'm in the studio doing it and I wanted to perform. And they just kept saying, well, you're a liability. And then we go on to see Sexy Red performing barefoot and selling out stadiums like Michael Jackson. And I'm just like, see, like, I had to choose between that and just being in, abusive relationships, well, with his father. And it just took me like trying to be everything for everybody and not choosing myself, being a mother. And I'm just, like I said, now I'm learning to just choose me first. He's older now. I can send him somewhere to be able to travel and do things. I have a good support system, but I went through that but I never stopped. Like I knew I was going to get back into it, but it took me 3 years to do it. But the movement I had back then, that's what captivated Miss Mona Lisa. So I'm just moving forward, and I made a few new songs, and I'm just excited for what's happening now.
That's good. I like that you said, you finding yourself and putting yourself first. And that's important. So if somebody is out there and they're contemplating or they want to be a singer or they contemplating going into the industry, what would you say to them, on how to get started and what to do?
Well, I just believe the whole thing with just having partners, and you need people. You need a good support system. You need a good team behind you. Everybody, you gonna have to learn how to weed people out, and because that's what you need. And like I know the industry has a bad name for certain executives or people in higher places. I would like to stay an independent artist and just hopefully like streams and things like that will take me far. As for like, just I don't want to sign my life away to someone, and then maybe if I don't, because I know my history, I want to be able to fulfill. But what if life happens again and I can't fulfill my obligation? So I just, but I'm definitely taking myself serious, and I just feel like a person needs to do that. Like believe in yourself, believe in your craft. Like I always say, it took for me to be around. I love the way I've heard Mona Lisa and Andre and my other friend on the phone together, and just their conversation about me just gave me that boost that I needed. Like, I mean, you hear how they talk about me? Like, I'm a star. Like, you need that. You need cheerleaders. You need people that believe in you, but you also need to just really believe in yourself and just stay true to you. No matter what, I even have naysayers now. Like even the person that I am in a relationship with seems like he always have a negative, something negative to say, and I be like, no matter what you say, I'm still doing it. I'm still pushing. I have a good team behind me. So you just gotta weed out the bull crap, take in the good, and just believe in yourself for real.
Yeah, that's so true. Because you're going to get those naysayers, even people who are close to you.
Right.
Andre, I'm going to put it to you as well. What would you say to someone who want to do what you do, who want to manage people in the entertainment business and they don't know where to start or what to do? What advice would you give to them?
Wow. Well, um, first of all, I think they need to study the business. I actually wrote a book that's on Amazon. It's called The Industry. And this book I have on Amazon is called The Industry. And it talks about pretty much almost like a kind of a bio, but it goes a little deeper into the business about the pitfalls, contracts, all type of things that you will face in the business. But you need to at least learn the business. You got to go to school. I would say go to school and take management course. Like for me, for example, when I got into this business, I wanted to go back this a little bit. When I was young, I was homeless, at a young age because I was dropped out of school and everything. I put myself through college and so forth. But at the time, what happened was I was also into the entertainment part of it because my family, my aunt, my uncle, they were part owners of the Lone Star Cafe. So I would go down there to New York, and I've been in the green room with James Brown and all the other big artists and stuff. And I was an illusionist back in that time. So I got to see some of the insides of some of the business. But it took some time though. I went to school. I have a degree in criminal justice and the specialization in business. So I always had business, and I was always a business person. So to answer your question, I believe they need to go to school, learn about management, you know, uh, maybe some accounting, then also learn the music business. Go to school, you have to read because it's not something you do overnight. You got to know how to handle people too. You have to be a people person, and be able to deal with people's personalities. There's a lot to it. Being a manager, being a baby for them, because you got to cater to all their situations, all the things they're going through, and so forth. But at the same time, if you put it in the proper perspective, it can work. So I would just tell a person, just learn the business, learn some business courses. You got to know how to run a business, but also communication. Like maybe take a class on communication. There's a lot to it. Some things just come natural to me. I've been very gifted in that respect.
We're going to wrap up, but I just want to ask, and this is for each one of you all. If your past could see you now, what would she say or he say?
My past will be mad at me, like, why you didn't do this sooner? Why you didn't choose you before? And like I said, I have a lot of regret, but I learned a lot along the way. I didn't have like that blueprint, and that's why I'm trying to be for my kids. And I just hope they like. I have very great kids, and I feel like you know how like when your kid, your mother try to tell you something, and you be like, I know already, or you don't know everything, mom. You don't understand. I hope my kids don't get at me like that because I feel like I lived a lot of lives in this lifetime. Like I've tried so many things. And I just really wish I would have listened more or just had more role models and people to look up to. So that's even my son doesn't have his father isn't in his life. I'm definitely looking for like big brother programs or, Kappa leagues, things like that to steer him in the right direction. Even my daughter, she's so smart and intelligent. I pour into her. Like for Christmas, she don't get ordinary gifts like random gifts. I gave her a sewing machine. She's into knitting. She's into science. So I do things like that to pour into her. I bought her. She did very good on a for and I was like a bad student. So it's like she's already showing me she's nothing like her mommy, and she has a lot of my good traits though. And so I bought her. She was like, I'm like, what do you want for your, because your report card was so good. She was like, I shouldn't get rewarded for, what I'm supposed to do. So I still got her something, but she's into like makeup and hair. So I bought her a makeup doll, a doll that she could do makeup and hair on. So I'm just invested. I wish I had that when I was younger. Real quick, my sister, I remember singing around the house and I used to write poetry. And my sister would be like, if you don't sing, just sing. Or she used to just make me feel like I was horrible. So that's what I mean. Like people have to pour into children and speak life and good energy into them because mine was, you know, they didn't pour into me as a kid.
Ain't no competition, I go done with it. Get money, big bags, being broke ain't fun, is it? I ain't gon' trip, I go dumb.
And showed me that I can have more. So I subjected myself into doing what most young girls without a father figure. I have a dad, but it was like still having that father figure to show me the way. So a lot of this stuff I just learned along the way, and I'm, parenting myself while I'm being a parent and just loving everything I got going on now. So I think she will be proud of me. Like, girl, we made it. Yeah. So
Yes.
that's I am now.
And I appreciate you being transparent about that because somebody needs to hear that.
The question was, what your younger self would tell you?
My younger self would say, go for the stars. You can do anything and be anything you want to be. That's what my younger self would say. Little Ann, go for it. Nothing's too big, nothing's too small. See the world, be good to your family, love yourself, be good to others, and take this world on and just enjoy life.
So when you're
Right.
following your dreams and your passion, it
Right.
takes discipline. Absolutely.
It does, and we're in a competitive business of a lot of people. You know what I mean? We're in a competitive business. So I have to match that. I have to look good, right? The dresses have to look good. My voice has to be good. The whole performance, the show. Oh, her clothes were spectacular, but she looked great. And and they asked me, where do you get this energy from? How do you move? I mean, I'm nonstop.
Are you ready for Tina? Say yeah! Are you ready for it? Woo, woo! Rock me, baby! Rock me, yeah! Roll me down like you roll.
It is. My question?
Yes, Andre.
Well, I think I would probably congratulate myself because I know, that song that Donnie McClurkin said, we fall down, we get up, just knowing that I never gave up on myself. I think that's the most important thing because with all the trials and tribulations, being homeless, putting myself through college, not having my biological father in my life, dealing with the abuse, all kinds of different things I went through. uh, I would say that um, being able to change my life and being able to go to doors I never went through before, I at this particular time in life, I would say, job well done, and I'm still to this day giving. You know, uh, life has taught me how to give back to our people, give back to people in general. And I
Right.
think it's probably important not to be selfish. And just think of oneself. So my children, they're growing, my grandkids. Uh, Everyone's doing pretty well. I have no complaints in that area. So when I look back, I reflect about what the journey I had to take. They always
Mhm.
say in the Christianity that when you was walking in the sand, it was only two footprints, but someone was walking, God was with you all that time. Because
Mhm.
sometimes you carry those situations. So I've been through situations where I know I shouldn't even be living today, but it
Mm.
was
Same here.
God. Doing through the grace of God. You know what I mean? The desire to live. See, one thing I noticed that I had to have the desire to live, not give up, and I never wanted to give up in spite of situations that I was going through at one time or another. So when I look back and I look today, I look at my mom, for example, who was the president of the National Sarcoidosis Foundation. Who
Mm.
used to work on Wall Street, and then when she was diagnosed with sarcoidosis, and then she became bedridden, but yet she still took her illness and wrote books.
Mm.
She traveled around the world. The doctors had her travel around the world. She was doing conferences and
Mm.
to give back to other people. So she inspired me, even though when I was about maybe going into my 30s, I came back to Jersey, and that's when I rekindled my relationship with my mom. And I think so. When I look back now, from back then to and when she passed away about what 3 years ago, me being in the hospital with my mom and holding her hand as she, descended away, it taught me to appreciate life.
Mhm.
So I would say to appreciate life, do the best you can, love your family, and give when you can give, and don't just, take life for granted. My mom always said, don't let life pass you by.
Mm.
When I was younger, I was out there, never thought about that until I got much older. So, young folks, you got more life or more time ahead of you than you do behind you. But
Right.
the young people today are leaving before the older people. So that's why I believe that my younger self, talking myself today, would be saying, job well done. Continue to do what you've been doing. Continue to give,
Yes.
to be an inspiration to someone else, to help someone else. And I listened to Melrose earlier when she was talking, and she reminded me so much of a life coach. I
Mhm.
consider being a life coach and writing a book, So you need to do that. I know I went off course a little bit, but that was in my spirit. So
Yes.
tell myself that. I definitely would tell myself just continue just to give, to bless others, and help our youth.
Yeah. That's great, because all of you all have a story, and I'm so glad you all shared it because you talked about it from surviving to thriving. Melrose, you talked about the abuse that you were going through. Andre, homelessness. I heard you talk about, Mona Lisa, caregiving, all a testimony, and it's all from surviving to thriving. So I
And
thank you all. And
Thank
Heart
you.
Nation, we will talk to you all next week.